Back grade 12s, we are now going to do a very technical section. We don't have plenty of time to do everything that we have prepared. It's a very, very technical section of work, but luckily for you, you guys have done it since grade 10 and you've also done it in grade 11, and all of those content is still examinable in grade 12. So it's not a new concept for you. So many of the things that you guys have done before, I'm just going to flash the slides for you. Right, so without further ado, forms of ownership. Sorry, I just want to get back to my slide. I've now stuffed that up a bit. Right. We are going to look at the following forms of ownership: sole traders, partnerships, closed corporations, private companies, public companies, limited liability companies, state-owned companies, non-profit companies, and cooperatives. Now, guys, these forms of ownerships, you guys need to be able to identify, you need to be able to describe them, you need to be able to evaluate them. With other words, the positives and the negatives about each form of ownership, because there's not really an ideal form of ownership for any business. But you would need to know all of this, the characteristics and the advantages and disadvantages. Now, guys, if you know that quite well, especially the characteristics, you would know how to do the new section of work of forms of ownership, and that is to discuss the factors that will have a success or a failure factor. So those characteristics and the advantages and disadvantages actually plays in there. If you know those things quite well, you would be able to elaborate on the success and failure factors. So guys, I'm just quickly going to flash a couple of slides for you. The first one, this was just questions that that was asked, and the answers is hidden there. Two or more members who own a business, they share the responsibility and they share the financial management decisions of a business. The answer, of course, there would be a partnership. Directors of a company, guys, the moment that you see the word directors, you know that we are speaking about companies are jointly and severally liable for all the debts and liabilities of the company. Now, guys, I know what the answer is. That answer is personal liability company. But I want to show you on something very important. It says there, the directors of the company, not the shareholders. There's a big difference between directors and shareholders of a company are jointly and severally liable for the debts of the business. It basically means if you've made an error in judgment and you've made the wrong decision that led the company to be declared bankrupt, they can actually take your possessions. Right, so that is where, but that's only if you are a director, not a shareholder necessarily. Right, a company that is registered for its stock and shares to the general public, registered to offer its stocks and shares, we already know that it is a public company. Guys, just so by the way, many people make the wrong call here because they think if I speak about a public company that it is owned by government. No, a company that is owned by government is called a state-owned company. It's not a public company. The name public in this case refers to the public's ability to buy shares into that company on the JSE. Right, a company has the government as its major shareholder. Of course, it's a state-owned company. A company not formed with the intent to make a profit, but to establish for public benefit, non-profit. Business that is owned and managed by one person is a sole trader. It can be a small or large company, has one or more directors, is a private company. Minimum of 1, maximum of 10 members is a closed corporation, and a group of interested parties together sharing resources. Now, guys, this is a form of ownership that I've seen only asked once, and people didn't know what that actually meant. That was called a cooperative. Now, guys, cooperatives are formed when you have major small businesses like farmers and things like that. They don't have a lot of resources on their own. So what they do is they collaborate with other small businesses and they form what they call a cooperative. And then they join these resources together so they can actually increase their bargaining power. But it is a different form of ownership that people sometimes forget to mention. the next one that I'm going to look at is the characteristics of each form of ownership. Now, guys, we don't have the time to really do this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to flash these slides to you. Right, sole proprietor, partnership, you can pause at any point here. Closed corporation, cooperatives, state-owned companies, personal liability companies. And then, guys, I want to just stand a bit on this slide. Now, guys, this is the end-all and be-all of all forms of ownership, and that is these concepts. And that concept is called limited liability. Now, guys, when liability is limited, it means that the owner only stands the chance to lose his initial investment in the business. They cannot now go, if the company is called or the business is bankrupt, go to the owner and start taking his possessions to pay for the debt. There is a definite difference between the debts of the business and the debts of the owner. Now, if you see the word limited liability, it means that the owner's debts are separate to that of the business. It's a very, very important concept, especially when we go to the success and failure factors of a company or any other form of ownership. Unlimited liability, you normally get in only two of the forms of ownership, and those forms of ownership are also not legal entities. Now, guys, that concept of a legal entity is incredibly important that you understand that. A legal entity is an institution that has the characteristics of certain normal people. With other words, it can open up its own bank account, it can sue and it can be sued, it can have its own debts and its own assets, and it exists separately to that of the owner. Now, that is what a legal entity is. So we only have two forms of ownership that you need to know that are not legal entities, and the one is a partnership and the other one is a sole trader. Now, those two, the debts of the owner and the debts of the business, is exactly the same thing because there's no separation between the business and the owners. Now, guys, if you understand that concept quite well and the liability for debts section, you are already understanding 50% of this section of work. Right, so I've already done this for you, the characteristics and all of those things. Because we've got limited time, I'm only going to do this last section of work. Now, guys, you need to be able to discuss the success and failure factors of each form of ownership. And there are specific ones that you need to look at, specific factors, and these are the factors. We have capacity, tax implications, management, capital, division of profits, and legislation. And I've put down there for you what all of those different characteristics mean or factors mean. So we use that to determine whether a business is going to be successful or whether it's not. And each of these have an implication that can be either positive or negative for the business. Right, grade 12s, this is the new section of work that you guys need to know. The previous ones that I flashed to you are things that you have done since grade 10 and 11. So not that I say it's not important, you need to know that quite well because otherwise you won't know how to answer this section of work. Now, guys, in your workbooks, they've only showed you two things for you to do. But these are the different factors that they are going to look at when you need to discuss a specific form of ownership in terms of these things. So you need to know what that means. Okay, the first one, of course, is capacity. It refers to the ability of a business or management to start and operate as planned. Tax implication. There are certain tax requirements of each form of ownership that might make it successful or harm it in the future. Management, the ownership impacts on the management functions, which determines the success or failure factors. We have capital, which is the ability to obtain capital, division of profits, and that refers to how it is divided, and of course legislation. Now, as I said before, each of these factors can have a positive or a negative effect that will cause the business to be successful or cause the business to fail, and you need to be able to discuss that quite well. Now, this is the difficult section, which is new work that you guys have done. Okay, now I've got a match the factor column here with the description. Column A refers to the ability. You guys can go through that. It was a section of work that you guys could have done yourself. The answers are as follows, and that is just to test your knowledge. Right, now guys, the question will come to you in this way. Advise on the success or failure of a public company, and then they will give you that specific factor. Now guys, it's not just public companies. You need to know the success and failure factors of each form of ownership, and you will find that information in your core content under business, under forms of ownership. Right. Now, the first one, we are now going to look at management. They asked us to advise on the success or failure factors of management. It says there in the success factors, managed at 3 or more competently, highly skilled directors. Now, guys, this is a public company. Part of the requirements of a public company is, one of the characteristics, they need to have 3 or more shareholders or 3 or more directors. Now guys, the moment that you have, of course, 3 directors, the responsibility to make a decision doesn't just lie on one person that can override the entire process. 3 people make sure that more prudent decisions are being made. Okay, and of course guys, directors are appointed by shareholders, and because of the fact that companies have so much more money, they can actually appoint highly skilled and trained people to take part of in the management. Right, the next one says, in terms of the success factors, the management of the company can improve. That is your statement. Now you need to say, why is it a success factor? Since directors are accountable to shareholders. The next one, shareholders can vote for or appoint. Now guys, that's a statement. Now why is this a success factor? Because you can the most capable directors can be appointed to manage the company. In terms of the failure factors, directors may not have a direct interest in the company. That's your statement, which can hamper growth and profit maximization. Maybe just to explain to you that point. Guys, if you have a small business that you have started from scratch, you have a personal interest in that business. It is almost like your child. You want to see it succeed. But directors are different. These are people that are appointed to work for you as a management team. And they take decisions not based on emotions, but based on cold-hearted facts. So they are removed from that emotion of this business. They only manage it on the cold, hard facts. And because of that personal interest that is not there, it might be that the business can go a bit backwards. Then guys, public companies are normally very large businesses. That is why we start them in the first place, because we want to get a lot of capital from the public. We invite them to buy shares. And because of that, we normally have very, very large management structures. Now guys, the moment that decisions need to be made in large management structures, it can actually take a lot of time for one thing to be done. So they are not very quick in making decisions. Right, and then of course guys, directors, as I say, are professional managers. These people don't come for 1 or 2 rand an hour. They work for a lot of money, and that we call directors' fees. And that is an expense to the business, and that comes from the profit that a business makes. Okay, so this is very important that you guys understand what this is. The next one, guys, is legislation. Now, legislation refers to the laws governing public companies in this case. Now, it says there the success factors. Company and its owners are separate entities. Now, that's a legal construct of law. which may encourage more people to join the company. Now, guys, the moment that you have separate legal entities, that also means that you have limited liability. So the guy that invests in the company will not stand a chance to lose his own personal possessions, only the money that he invested in the company, and that might be more suitable for people to invest their money in such a business. Right, the next one, limited liability, I've just explained. And then, guys, there's an obligation by law on public companies to have their financial statements audited and published. Now, guys, that is a big advantage, because we can now see that there are no expenses and fraudulent transactions that took place, because that has been audited by an outside business. And that makes sure that the shareholders know that their money has been properly managed. In terms of the failure factors, guys, a public company has long formal procedures that need to be complied with. You need lawyers in order to advise you, and that will be a lot more expensive than starting let's say a sole trader or a partnership or something like that. So it's a long and expensive process that you need to go through. And then, of course, high formation and establishment expenses requires a lot of startup capital. That is why we started in the first place, where we invite the public to buy shares. And then, of course, we need to audit the financial statements by law, which basically means that we need to pay an auditor like KPMG or PricewaterhouseCoopers in order to audit our statements, which is very expensive for that professional service. And then, of course, if a public company does not comply with legislations, then it means that their license may be withdrawn by the CIPC. So, guys, that brings us to the end of this presentation. We have officially run out of time, but I just quickly want to show you these last couple of slides. You guys can take a note of that, and you can pause at any time that you want to do so. Right.
Okay, great, 12. So that essay format was also explained quite extensively in the first revision program. So all the quarter one revision program, that essay format was explained quite extensively there by Mr. Van Zyl. So have a look at that one to make sure that you understand that essay format quite clearly. Thank you very much for tuning in to for watching this revision program. From me, I'd like to wish you well for your final exams. I know it's been a very tough year, but we know that you will also stand up and lift yourselves up to the challenge of doing the best that you possibly can do. So good luck for the final exams. Work hard, study hard, use the tips that we've given you, and I'm sure you will do very well.
From my side, also grade 12s, good luck for the final exams, but I know if you prepare hard and you prepare in the correct way, then luck has got nothing to do with it. So I wish you the best of luck.
Bye-bye.